What's going on, guys? This is Brain from Advancement Hockey Advising here, and today we'll be talking about my journey through hockey and why I chose to become a family advisor. All right, so I'm making this video here not because I like talking about myself. Actually, I really do not like talking about myself. You know, I really like listening to people's stories instead, not really ranting about my own story and all that kind of stuff. I don't really like sounding braggy or anything like that. But in this particular situation, I think it would be valuable for you guys because we've gotten actually so many questions about how did we end up playing NCAA hockey? What's the path we took? You know, we get so many questions about that, and we get a lot of questions too about, you know, why did you become a family advisor? You know, what motivates you to do it? And I think answering these two questions here will give you guys some value to see like what our motivations are, why we do it, and you know, how we got to where we got today. So I think it will provide some value, which is the biggest reason why I'm doing it, even though it makes me a little bit uncomfortable. All right, but before diving into my story here, as always, just a quick reminder to absolutely smash that like button. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. So I guess I can start with my story with, you know, I started playing hockey around 7 years old. A little bit older than you know, most guys who start, which is around like 3 or 4 years old or something like that. So I started around that age. You know, it took me a while to catch up to everyone, but once I did, I really got the knack of it. You know, I started, I say I played like house league for 3-4 years, and then I really started getting to the competitive like AA, AAA levels as I got a little bit older, you know, around 10, 11 or 12 or something like that. I played AAA for a few years, but I actually got cut from a few teams too. So it's not like I was smooth sailing one of the top players all the time, right? I actually faced adversity from an early age, which I think was important. You know, I think it's important to go through that. Wasn't easy at the time, but it definitely teaches you a lot. So I would say that's the first type of pain/adversity really that I felt in hockey. But then, you know, moving forward after that, 1 year I got cut from my AAA team when I was around 15, I believe, and then I decided to go play prep hockey instead. You know, I thought that would be a great spot for me to go, for me to improve and really develop. So we ended up going there. Now the thing is here, this is where I really faced my first big challenge, and that was being away from home. And the homesickness really hit me. Even though like this prep school was like an hour, just a little over an hour away from my house, it's just the fact that I wasn't near my parents. I wasn't at my parents' house, wasn't getting their dinners and all that stuff, didn't have their company. It was definitely a big adjustment for me, and I would say the first 3 or 4 months or so were pretty rough. You know, the whole fall semester was definitely tough for me. I would say it definitely affected my game a little bit, and it wasn't easy. And I'd say because I was so not used to being around guys all the time, I definitely got picked on a little bit because it wasn't the environment I was used to, you know. So that was definitely a little bit of a challenge, or not a little bit, quite a bit of a challenge for me. But I say in hindsight, it probably helped me because once I got to junior, moving away from home wasn't a big deal. But I would say that was the first biggest shock that I had. And then, you know, going forward from there, my second year prep, that went great. I really liked it. My third year, came back home for financial reasons to play AAA hockey, all that kind of stuff. That went pretty well. And then I played junior for 3 years. So I would say the next big hit of adversity hit in junior. The first team I played for, I went there, I was like one of the top players there originally. Things were going really well up until like the 15 game mark. And I would say, you know, up until the 10 game mark, I was working hard and all that stuff. And then I feel like I started to get a little bit complacent, you know, moving forward. And this is where I would have loved to have a good mentor and have the right guidance to tell me these things, because I didn't know this at first. You know, it's not something that was like instilled in my mindset. And I thought like, oh, I'm like one of the top players here, I can just do whatever. I started getting a little bit complacent, you know, not practicing as hard, not going to the gym hardly, honestly. And it showed in my game. And shortly after, unfortunately, I got released from the team. And that was very, very difficult to go through. And it's difficult to talk about now even because it's tough, right? It hits your ego a little bit. But I think it's important to share this with you guys. Tell you what can happen in junior if you don't do, and in life, honestly, if you don't do the consistent little things that make you successful, you know? So that happened to me. That whole year was pretty rough, honestly. It was definitely tough to deal with, and I didn't find another junior A team that year because it was halfway through the season. But the following year, fortunately, I found another junior A program in the US. The first one wasn't a great fit, so I got traded right away. I traded to another team, and that team was a great fit. Honestly, I loved my time there. It went really well. In hindsight, I should have stayed there for my last year, but I played there, and then my last year I went in the MJHL in Manitoba. For whatever reason, I got there. It started off okay the first couple of games, but then just wasn't the right fit with the coach, and I ended up, going to the US. Playing very well there. Actually, that was really my breakthrough year, I would say. Just to give context, that's where I hired a really good family advisor. Me and my family hired them, and that really made a huge difference. Went to the US, did well there, finished my last junior year in Kemptville in the CCHL. Did quite well there. Played a few games, not that many, but got in the CCHL, did decent there. And then from there ended up getting an NCAA D3 commitment. Now, the reason why I brought you through my whole story here is because I want to emphasize the fact how much of a difference having a good family advisor made. At the beginning of my junior career, we did hire one. Wasn't a great fit, not gonna name any names or anything like that, just wasn't great, didn't return phone calls, didn't really give any guidance or advice or anything like that. And I was kind of lost throughout my whole junior career. I didn't have, honestly, the right mindset, habits. Didn't really know anything about the hockey world, learned as I went. And your time is so limited in junior, you don't have time to do that. And looking back, if I would have hired the second one that we did back at the beginning of the junior career, it probably would have ended up a lot different. But, I don't regret that because it's things you learn as you go, right? And I wouldn't be here today if I didn't go through that experience. So yeah, did all that, went to college. I battled with some injuries at first and stuff, so that was a little bit tough. But then I transferred over to another one and then ended up doing well there and all that kind of stuff. So basically that's kind of my journey through hockey in a nutshell. And there's a lot more that goes into it, but I don't want to bore you guys with the details. But the main reason why I'm telling you guys this, having basically not a family advisor, yes, it helps in hockey and stuff, but just in whatever you're going in, whether it's hockey or school or anything like that, having a solid mentor, whoever that is, an advisor, coach, uncle's friend, that's an expert in that area, guide you through the journey, really does make a big difference. And it would have made a huge difference for me early in my career if I would have had that. Now circling back to the second part of the video here is why do I do family advising? It's for that reason. I wish I would have had myself as a mentor for me back then, because I know all these lessons now, I know all these things. I wish I would have said, hey, you gotta be more consistent. You gotta dial down your habits. Your mindset's not sharp enough right now. Here are some things you can do to tune up your mindset. Go to this team, not that team. I wish I would have had that back then, and having that kind of a mentor, that kind of coach in your corner almost, it really does make a huge difference in your career. That's why we do it. The impact that we make in these players' lives, like when we get them out of a billet situation and now they're much happier in their new billet, or when we trade them from a team where they weren't playing to a team where it's a better fit now and they're playing and they're happy, that's huge for us. If a player's mindset's off and we teach them a few mindset tactics that we use, and you just see the change in their game and their overall demeanor and attitude right away, their confidence. It's so fulfilling. It's so fulfilling to see that kind of work, and parents calling us saying, thank you so much for everything you've done, all that kind of stuff. It's so rewarding. It's the reason why we do it. And honestly, I'm gonna do this probably till forever, because it's such an amazing job, and it doesn't even feel like work. I know I just went on a huge rant here about my story and about why I do advising and all that stuff, but it really is. I feel like you guys will get some value out of this, and the main message I want you guys to get is having a good mentor or guide in your life in whatever you want to achieve is very, very helpful. And if you can become that mentor or guide one day, it's very, very fulfilling. It's why I do it, and it's why a lot of people out there do it as well. That's it for the video, guys. I know it's a bit different, it's a bit unstructured here, but it was just me telling my story and my journey. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. And if you're new here, this is the first time you see us, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. And if you have any questions at all for me personally, feel free to drop a comment down below. We do read them, we do answer them, or send us an email at info@ahadvising.com. And if you send it to me, if you address it to me, I'll get back to you personally. With that being said, thanks so much for watching, guys. That's it for the video. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you on that next one.